All right, we are connected. We are all green. We have green check marks, meaning we are physically plugged into the PLC and online. We have green circles, meaning that what is on our PLC is the same thing that's on our computer. In this case, if we come to program blocks and main, we will see that's nothing. We don't have we downloaded a blank program to this PLC, erasing whatever was on there and starting fresh. So that's why everything is the same. You notice no outputs are on over here. We have an input here. It's because I have a normally closed button. We'll talk about that in a second. But the PLC is doing nothing with those inputs, and all of our lights are off. So let's go in. In this video, we want to make two tags. We're going to make a simple push a button, turn a light on to make an input and an output. So we will make two tags. We will call one a green button and one a light. So we'll push a green button and a light will come on. So yeah, let's get started. There's a couple different ways to do this. My favorite way is to come to PLC tags, go to show all tags, and see here we have no PLC tags, haven't made any yet. And the first one I get is add new. So what I like to do is come in here and click on add new and just start typing my tags out. Obviously for this, we're going to only have two, one input and one output. But if you had a bunch, you could just come in here and get started. You'll see the benefit of that here in a second. So I'm going to type green button. Do you have to do underscore? No. Do you have to, can you do a space? Yes. I'm just accustomed to underscores as spaces. You could abbreviate. You could say GRE button if you didn't want to make it that long. Whatever your preference is here. Coming across, it's going to put it in the default tag table. That's where we want it. It is going to, by default, make it a bool. A bool tag, a boolean, is an on or an off. That's fine because it's just a on-off input. And it gives it an address of just the first open address. So in our case, this is not correct because I have another button wired up right there. But it doesn't know that. So I'm going to click on address here. Here I can change it from an input to an output. I can also change the bit number. So they all start with 0, and then it's 0 dot something. In this case, it is 0.1, and I hit OK. Our tag is made. Let's make our light tag. I'll hit add a new tag, and I'll call this light. It's a default tag. It's a bool, but it's not an input. We want it to be an output. So I'll go in here and I'll change it to a Q. And then 0 dot wherever it's wired up. Come over here and look. It is wired up to our 0 output. So this needs to be 0.0. And hit check. There's our tags. Simple as that. You can see as I start to work, some of this stuff starts to turn orange. Meaning that, hey, what is on your PC, your computer, does not match what is on the PLC. Because we haven't downloaded yet. That's fine. You could just go ahead and go offline here if those status symbols are bothering you, because we can't make online changes on these PLCs. It has to be made offline and downloaded anyway. So we made our tags. Let's come back to our main. We'll talk about program blocks and adding new blocks in the next chapter. But right now we can do our programming in just the main OB1. That's fine for right now. It will work just fine. So now that we're here, we have a couple different ways to add things. We can drag them from here. See, we have normally open contact, normally closed, coil, empty box, and some rungs. So I can come over here and drag this down. I get a green snap point, snap it to right there. It puts it in. with question marks because it's a blank tag. It's a blank contact. Or I could come over here to the instructions tab. I can come in here and I can find, these are all of the instructions that the PLC can use. These are just kind of the quick ones. So I could come over here to bit logic and I could find that coil. If you notice, when I hover over that as well, I can hover on this. I can hover on these orange or these yellow pop-ups and it will tell me what that is, right? Sets the bit, has some links. So just drag that right down there. So there's an input contact. There is a coil output contact. Next thing we got to do is just tell it what's what. The reason why I like making those tags first is because now I can click on those question marks and I can click on this list button and there's my tags, right? So now I just click on green button and everything is addressed, everything is right. I can do the same for my output. I can find it on the list. If this was longer, you could scroll down through. I can click on light, and there it is. So tags were already made, already there. I could have drug a contact down here and clicked on this, and maybe I type red button. Notice it has that like you spelled something wrong under it. If I go and click on that, I can also hit define tag and it brings up something that looks very similar to what I had on my tag table, and I can do it after the fact. We'll always work out of the global. Notice there's not even a local input. So I go global input. This is actually right this time because that is where it's wired. It's a bool default tag table, define, and there you go. So the same way to do it. I like to go in and type my tags out first. Sometimes you do it like that because you're like, you didn't think of a tag. I'm going to go ahead and delete this just because I don't want it there. We just want this. And that's our program. We wrote it. Now the final step is to just download this to the PLC and see if it works. So we can come up here. I use these top buttons. We can hit compile. What this does is scans our program to make sure everything is good. We can see down here at the bottom, everything has checked out. Blocks are successfully compiled. There's no errors and no warnings. Then we can hit this button right next to it and download. Remember, we can also right-click on our PLC itself and compile and download this way. So I'll hit a download. It is going to look for the PLC. It's going to say, hey, everything's ready. Everything's good to go. And I'm going to hit load. It's going to load into the PLC here. It's going to say, hey, everything's good. It happened without errors. I'm going to hit finish. And now I should be able to hit go online and everything is back to green. There we go. So everything is back to green. This program is in the PLC. It matches what's on the computer. I can come up here and hit our monitor tab now, the glasses with the play button, and see our logic come to life. So now we can see here, we can see what part of our logic is energized and what part is not. You can see our logic is correct up until this green button. The green button is not pushed, so this light is not on, hence the blue dash line. If I go ahead and push the green button, it completes the circuit, and you see that the light has now come on. If you can see over here, you can see those lights happen too. You can see when I push the button, that input comes on, and because the logic says to turn the light on when the button is pushed, you can see it flash down here. Always remember to come up and hit this monitor button. You're going to be in your program and you're going to be pushing this and you're going to be trying to troubleshoot and something's not going to look right. This monitor button's always make sure you have the color green and blue here. So that's downloading to the program. I'm going to cut the video here. I want to pull the camera out and I want to show you these physical buttons that I'm pushing here and how that is working here. But your program is online, your program is good, you're ready to go.